and welcome back to Time Traveller Ironman. We obviously have one big thing in front of us today, but before we get started on that, I'm going to take a quick detour and show that I'm strictly nonpartisan and that I murder all druids equally. There's the first item I need, and there's one of the other items I need, the Grimy Harlander. I actually totally forgot to save one of these, and I need one for the quest. And there's the other item that I wanted to show off. So basically, the druids on the surface have a chance of dropping these druid robes. They're unfortunately pretty much as good as a cosmetic, as they only provide a small prayer boost and nothing else, and this prayer boost is actually 3 less than monk's robes, so it's almost pointless to have these. They do look really nice, and they're like desert robes before desert robes exist, I guess, but they're a unique drop, so I wanted to show them off. No slots in the collection log though, but unfortunately, because they're not very useful to us, I'm just gonna leave them all on the ground. Bye. And here we are outside the Heroes Guild for the start of our final adventure of February 2002. Let's go ahead and chat with the Chetties and see what we need to do to gain admission to the Heroes Guild. So she checks all of the boxes. I have all the quest points I need. I've done all the required quests, which at this point is all of them, and I can apply for membership. But in order to do that, I need to gather 3 items: an Entronin Firebird feather, a Master Thieves armband, and a cooked lava eel. These are obviously 3 items that I just haven't stumbled across in my travels and are specifically for this quest, so we'll have to go out of our way to get them. She tells me for the Thieves armband I have relevant context to find out about, hinting towards the Phoenix gang that I joined way back in episode 1. She gives me no tips on the Entronin Firebird other than that it's probably on Entrana. For the lava eel, she just tells me to go talk to someone who knows a lot about fishing, probably referring to Garant in Port Sarim. It's very interesting how little information you actually get for this quest. It's really open-ended, but thankfully, with the power of foresight, we know exactly what to do, so let's get started. Funnily enough, as far as I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any in-game hint that the ice gloves even exist. I don't know if this was something that was hinted on the website back then or something, but thankfully we know that we need them now and know exactly where to get them. But back in the day, it must have been quite a headache to figure out exactly how to get the fire feather and adventure down into here. Generally speaking, it seems like updates back then, at least in this early members period, were much the same way, in that it was really hard to know exactly what you needed to do until someone else figured it out and gave you a guide. And to make the situation even more complex, we have to navigate an ice maze to go retrieve the ice gloves to get the fire feather. Definitely not just a super easy fetch quest, this one. Little small thing here, but ice spiders were actually released with this update, so this is the first time they exist. Not really any reason to kill them though, they don't drop anything. One thing to remember about all these old RS Classic era dungeons is they were really designed with the 3-hit combat feature in mind, where you actually couldn't walk away until an NPC had a chance to damage you 3 times. So it would have taken a lot longer to get here, as every single monster would have had a chance to get in combat with me. This is no exception. With all these ice warriors, I would have had to try to fight my way through in order to be able to actually attack the Ice Queen. But thanks to the fact that this is multi-combat, it should be no problem. Easiest way is to just lure her away from her minions and into the back of the room, which they can't reach. And now we can just go one-on-one. There we go. The Ice Queen is defeated. The Ice Gloves have been obtained. These are obviously a very iconic item. Actually, the Ice Gloves are significantly better defensively in Slash and Crush than Leather Gloves, so I'll probably be wearing these best in slot. Nice. And as we already saw the Firebird during the Lost City quest, I know exactly where it is, just here on the north end of Entrana. Should be as easy as just punching it to death and then picking up its feather from the ground. If we tried to take it without our ice gloves on, you can see we get a little bit of an ouchie dialogue and a little bit of an ouchie hit splat. But with our ice gloves, we can safely pick it up and put it into our backpack, which for some reason, even though it's more than hot enough to burn our hands, it doesn't burn our backpack for some reason. But hey, I'll take it. That is the first item obtained. Thankfully, we're really close to Garant's shop after leaving Entrana, so we can stop in and ask for how we go ahead and catch a lava eel. And thankfully, he's familiar with the task. He knows that we'll have to be fishing in lava, so we need a lava-proof fishing line, and it's going to require a little bit of fireproof blamish oil. Thankfully, he happens to have a jar of blamish snail slime, and this is actually really interesting because this is a number of years before the release of Mauritania, so blamish snails were confirmed to exist in the game At this point, many years before they actually were introduced. So he says I need to mix it into a Harlander potion to get the blemish oil that I can apply to the fishing rod. And that's where the herb oil requirement comes in. Thankfully I can also buy a fishing rod and a fishing bait from him. Interestingly enough, the blemish oil has a drink option. It just makes your character say that they don't want to. I guess that makes sense. And we can just coat it in oil to get the oily fishing rod. Now we just need to go find the fishing spot for the lava eels and we'll have the second item attained. Thankfully, I happen to know that the lava eels can only be caught down in the Tal'Vere dungeon. They can also be caught in the wilderness today, but that is not the case in 2002. So we're going to finally venture far into the Tal'Vere dungeon, farther than we've gone before. This part of the dungeon has some new monsters as well, including these magic axes. They actually have a really rare chance of dropping a rune battle axe, but it's not necessarily worth going as I've already got the dragon sword, so I probably won't be killing them. There's also poison scorpions. They're not aggressive to me, but this is the first example of a mob that has a chance to poison you, making those anti-poisons have use. There are also some chaos dwarfs down here, so I don't have to go in the wilderness if I want to kill more of those. Now the lava eels themselves are even deeper in the dungeon. However, I know there's a locked gate before you can access that part, and in order to get the key for it, I need to pay a visit to a large black knight fortress that's just off of the actual dungeon itself. This seems like a really inconvenient place to have this many armed soldiers living. All this fancy posh dining furniture and armor. It's only accessible through the dungeon past multiple aggressive monsters. It doesn't feel like a very good place to run an operation. There's no other access point at all. So I know Valrak the Explorer has the key that I need, but I need to free him from prison in order to be able to get the key from him. And of course, we do it through the power of murder. With the jailer down, we can safely enter Valrak's cage and give him a chat. If I ask him for any more good places to explore, he tells me about the deeper parts of the dungeon and gives me a key to be able to access it. And I guess I'll drop the jail key on the floor for him so he has access to that. Once you start getting a little deeper, there's lesser demons, nothing special as I've already killed those. But here's the gate to the next area. And this area has the first killable dragons that are not Elvarg, and that's blue dragons. Unfortunately, I did not remember to bring my anti-dragon shield, so we're gonna have to kind of try to tread the outside here and make sure we don't die. Normally you can use the protect from magic to at least half the damage of the dragon fire, but that also does not exist, so this is going to be a little treacherous here. I can use the aggro of the baby blue dragons to get me through, though I think technically they didn't exist yet. Whew. Made it. A little bit of a puzzle there. Would have been much better if I just brought the dang shield. Now we can go even further into the dungeon for stronger monsters, and we will be doing that later, including the black demons here, but this is as far as we need to go for now. I can fish the lava eels right here. These actually have a 100% cook rate, but I'm going to grab two just in case I accidentally eat one for some reason. And obviously this is where the fishing and cooking requirements come in. Alright, 2 items down, 1 to go. So of course we need to visit our contact, aka the Phoenix Gang, and talk to them about getting a Master Thief's armband. He gives me the job in order to get the armband to steal some valuable candlesticks from a man named Pete on Karamja, which is kind of strange. I mean, even if they were made of solid gold, would that really be enough to justify a rank jump straight to Master Thief? I'm not quite sure. Alright, on the far west side of Karamja is the brand new city of Brimhaven. There's not a whole lot to do here right now, unfortunately. Just the quest that I need to do now, so let's head over to the Shrimp and Parrot and meet our contact. Wait a second, who's that? Hey, it's me. What do you mean, me? I'm you, but from the future. Wait, you're me and I'm you? Yep, but won't this cause some sort of time paradox where we become our own grandfather or something? Wait, are you implying you want to... That's not important right now. But what is important is you finishing this quest. Okay, I was on my way to do that already, so why are you here? You won't be able to do it alone. You need someone from your rival gang, and thankfully in my timeline, I just so chose to side with them instead. Oh great, I guess? So what do you need me to do? Don't worry about it, just meet your contact inside the Shrimp and Parrot and it will all be obvious when you see me make my move. That is horribly unclear and I am very uncomfortable with this plan. You'll be fine. Well, I guess let's just get this done then. Right on, see you in a few. And apparently our future self has given us a key? Huh. Alright, well let's continue with the quest, I guess, with our future self's help. So if we talk to Alphonse, the waiter, who is our contact within the Shrimp and Parrot here, he gives us permission to enter the back room after telling him the password of Gherkin. Back here we can talk to the cook, and the cook will give us some information about a secret access point to the back alley behind Pete's house, and potentially getting access to the shed, which has a window directly into his treasure room. We can enter the shed, but unfortunately the room with the window has a locked door. But that's where this key comes in, which is the key that was left by our partner, our future self. So here I can very safely and discreetly take a shot at Pete. So our future self attempts to search Grip, the head guard's stash of alcohol, which makes the head guard very angry, and he comes into the room to tell us to stop doing that, and that gives us a chance to just shoot him down safely from behind the window. And apparently these guards just don't care enough to intervene, I guess because they can't see me. He drops a keyring that our partner can take and can use to obtain the candlesticks. Let's go meet them out front. Our mission accomplished, our partner returns with the candlesticks. Dropping a candlestick on the ground for us to take as well. Goodbye, future self, I guess. Until next time, maybe? And then, of course, we return victorious to Straben, who gives us the Master Thief's armband, the third and final item that we need to enter the Heroes Guild. Also making a quick pit stop to cook these eels that I forgot to cook. We return with all 3 items to Achetti's here and turn them in to complete the quest. She plays a little trick on us, pretending that there's more to do, but nope, just those 3 items, and we've completed the Heroes quest, which is only apparently 1 quest point. Quest points are so weird. It does give us a massive amount of experience across many skills. Only 1 level up apparently, but that's still pretty great. And most importantly, access to the Heroes Guild. Absolutely incredible. The Heroes Guild is very useful, but at the same time, not that big. A couple of interesting little places here, but not a whole lot to do. There is a prayer altar here that I can use to recharge my prayer if needed. Yay! And most importantly, one of the more useful parts, of course, is this little shop here run by Helmos. If I were to trade him, you can see that he sells the Dragon Battle Axe and the Dragon Mace. The Dragon Mace did not exist at this point, obviously, so I'm not required to buy that. However, I do need to buy the Dragon Battle Axe, and it is expensive. 200,000 coins, so that's pretty much what I'll be doing next. And I knew this day would come, but the bank is full. I'm gonna have to pare down a little bit. This is not a lot of bank space. Okay, and that leaves the question, how are we gonna earn this almost 200k gold that we need? And the answer is probably pretty obvious. More steel plate bodies in the wilderness. I'm hoping this is the last time I'll have to do this, but unfortunately, there's just no way around it. It's so much faster than any other money-making method I have. I need about 160 high elks to get up to 200k, so I'm gonna bring a couple of law runes, exchange them for nature runes on Nature Rune Isle, and then high elk the plate bodies up there in the wilderness. This is a bit of a risk, as if I die, I will lose everything that I have, but I think it'll be worth it, as I didn't see a soul anytime I was up there over the last 2 times. Let's go ahead and get it done. Alright, so after just about an hour, I've got the money we need for the battle axe. Let's go ahead and purchase it. Didn't see a soul, and I assume it'll be safe getting out of here as well. Returning to the Heroes Guild, and we can purchase that Dragon Battle Axe. Now, the only unfortunate part about the Battle Axe is it's actually not all that better than the Dragon Longsword. Back in RuneScape Classic, there was definitely a trade-off between the Battle Axe and the Longsword, as the Longsword had better accuracy, but the Battle Axe had better strength. And that's still the case here. This really only has about the same accuracy but much higher strength bonus. The problem with the Battle Axe is it's even a tick slower than the Dragon Longsword in RuneScape 2. So basically everywhere you would use the Longsword, the Battle Axe has lower DPS. That said, the Battle Axe will become extremely useful after RuneScape 2 is released, as its special attack is extremely valuable on an Ironman. So I'm glad to have it, even though it probably won't see much use until then. Alright, we are bringing February of 2002 to a close finally. This has been a heck of a journey, and I am so happy to have you along with. But before we go, there is one more thing we need to do, and it's to kill some of the most powerful monsters that were released this month. Let's do it. Alright, back into the second half of the Tal'Vere dungeon. This time with the proper equipment, we need to go seek out and kill both a black demon and a black dragon. I could kill one of the blue dragons, but there's really nothing that I need from them anyway, and the black dragon is higher level. The black demons are very big boys, and they have a lot of health and attack power, which is why I'm just going to protect from melee against these guys. There we go. Black Demon killed. Ooh, gas runes. Annoyingly, I did forget about these poison spiders here, so they did poison me. Hopefully we can outlast it. I didn't bring an anti-poison. Alright, and the other big boy we have to kill is a black dragon. Let's do it. Level 227, by far the most powerful enemy in the game released to this point. Funnily enough, these dragons are actually probably easier to kill than Elvarg, just because you can pray melee against the vast majority of their attacks and their dragon fire hits so much less. But there we go, we completed the black dragon kill, which apparently was a combat task, so unfortunately that will be marked off in our quest diary. Also, Dragon Bones and Dragon Hide don't exist at this point, unsurprisingly, so there's very little reason to actually come kill these guys right now. Their drops are not that great anyway. With all of that out of the way, that concludes February of 2002. The only outstanding item that is left on the backlog is, of course, that 80 crafting grind. I've got the Dragonstone in the bank, but I still need to achieve that level to craft it. We'll get that done next month for sure, as well as another huge grind and more huge gear upgrades. Of course, we made some massive progress in this episode, including getting the melee skills almost up to base 60s, 50 range, 72 magic, and almost 50 prayer. I've done that entirely by burying regular bones. Also, can't forget we got those sharks and super strength potions, both of which required massive grinds. That said, I am so excited for the future months and what they bring. There is so much exciting content for us to look forward to, and I hope you'll join me for the journey. We can't go before we check how much time this month took us. At the end of the last episode, I had about 14 days, 17 hours playtime. So if you do the math, that's about 220 hours of playtime in this episode, almost doubling the total playtime on the account. That's absolutely ridiculous, and by far exceeds any other month's playtime, even the 70 crafting grind. Absolutely ridiculous. About 100 hours of that was the fishing grind, about 100 hours of that was the herblore grind, and the rest was pretty much a miscellaneous associated playtime with quests and other things. And of course, we can't leave without giving a big thank you to the members of the channel. Thank you all so much for joining and supporting the channel. It means so much to me and helps me make better content. Extra huge thanks to OneKiller912 for joining that top tier. Absolutely appreciate the extra support. Alright, of course, thank you all for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in March 2002. Bye-bye.